Have you ever wondered what it's like to own one of these guys right here? A G80 M3, the infamous G80 M3. Fellas, you clicked on the right video because I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give it to you straight up. Exactly what it costs to own this. No BS, no fluff. I mean, we're not going to gatekeep anything because this just isn't any G80 spec. Fellas, we're talking about one with carbon buckets, X-Drive, carbon roof, laser lights, carbon exterior package, extended leather package, M-Drive Professional, basically everything that you can throw at this car from the factory other than this guy right here. Carbon ceramic brakes, which in my opinion, kind of a waste of money. It's more of a flex, you know? Fellas, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. Like I said, here is my 2023 G80 M3 competition, and we're gonna give it to you real. I'm gonna tell you guys everything you need to know about costs, basically what I'm shelling out of my bank account every month for a spec like this. And yo, shout out Costco for the clothes. Fellas, if you don't shop at Costco for your clothes, then you're missing out. Okay, that's how you afford one of these cars. Straight up. I've had this car now for roughly 6 months. I've absolutely loved it. I mean, price-wise, maybe that might be the only thing that would deter me from being super excited about this, just because it is a very high price point. And fellas, as you know, these cars are very in demand. Everybody wants a G80 M3, especially with the carbon buckets. What's great about this video too is I'm not gonna just be breaking down my price point, at least what I'm paying for it monthly, because if you guys didn't know, I am financing this, but also mods included, how I got it to pretty much look like this. As you can see, we're lowered. We're on AST springs. We have a Miltech 4-inch mid-pipe, a MAD valve controller. We have the CS trans steering differential flash, and then the CS software DME flash, basically power and torque from the M2 CS. Great numbers. The car's an absolute missile. It pretty much runs the quarter mile, sub 11 seconds consistently. I haven't tested it at sea level yet. This thing is going to toast 99% of the cars on the street. More about what this car offers, just other than power, because in my opinion, this is truly the best daily driver you can get. I mean, you can't think of another car right now that offers, let me just show you one more time. Fellas, think of another brand right now that offers a gorgeous interior like this from the factory on a 4-door sedan with an infotainment luxury setup like this. I mean, we have carbon fiber running here, carbon fiber there. I already showed you guys this from back, but look at all this space. I can easily fit in here, and this seat's not even all the way forward. I mean, this is pretty far back, but it's like, look at this. I have no issue. I'm a 6'3" dude, okay? I'm 6'3", probably 190 pounds, and I mean, I'm very comfortable back here. I'm not bumping my head, which honestly, big complaint for me is headroom. Seat-wise, plenty of space. I mean, I'm not even touching this. That's me scooting forward, but these cutouts are really nice. I know they call these little tickle cutouts, but guys, I'm like extremely comfortable back here, which is insane. You're not gonna find this from any other car, at least like price point wise and performance, because we all know the reason this car is coveted is the fact that you can put a downpipe and tune on it and you're at like 700 wheel horsepower conservatively. That is insane to think about. It's truly insane. Here we go, we're gonna start it off. You're probably wondering, okay, well, listen here, Will, what are you paying for this car a month? You know, what are you shelling out? And I will say to start, like I said earlier, we are financing this car. One thing I will mention about this car is it's probably not the best finance situation I could probably get for it. Ideally, I like to be under 5% interest rate, just based on the time that I purchased this car, as well as my debt to income ratio and the other cars I own. The only place or the only lender that approved me was BMW. Couldn't argue with that. I'm self-employed. I haven't even really gone over that in any other videos. If you know, being self-employed is extremely hard, especially at my age, to finance a car like this. I mean, this is a huge step up from my M340i. If you guys didn't know, I had an M340i before this fella right here. I got that car for $39,000 out the door. I got a 7% interest rate on it. It was pretty much my first big time car. The only other cars I owned before that, which It's gonna sound funny, but a 2006 Ford 500 with 110,000 miles I owned in cash, which was probably worth about 3K. It had an CVT transmission, which is absolutely horrible. I don't recommend that, but I swear it got up. I mean, that car could get up as a 6-cylinder, and I sold it to a dude for, I think it was like $2,900, around there. From that car, I jumped to the M340i, and then basically this was my jump from that. And the M340i interest rate I got was like not ideal. You know, as a used car, I got it with, what was it? 20,000 miles, like 21,000 miles. I got a 699, which at the time was really good. You know, I took it, I was happy with it. My monthly on that guy was like 680, I believe, for what I said. You know, it was a great value. I love the car. I enjoyed it very much. And at the time with my employment and what I was doing, that payment was like nothing. I was very, very happy with that car. And you guys can see on my channel, you know, we went through a whole build process with that. Eventually figured out that, you know, that was not the route we wanted to go. And now we have this guy. So fellas, I did trade in my M340i for this car right here. This is a 2023 G80 M3 competition, which, like I said, it's basically fully loaded. X-Drive. The only thing we're missing is pretty much carbon ceramic brakes. I cannot think of anything else that you could possibly add to this car from what it came with from the factory. This to me was just, it was the penultimate. You know, this was the level up, exactly what I was looking for performance-wise. Valued $1, didn't have to do much. Like I said, I haven't even touched anything other than just a mid-pipe and CS OEM software from BMW. Basically, you know, stock internals. We traded in the M340i for that guy, and you know, I was sad to see it go, but the time that I bought this car, like I said, I have a couple other cars on my personal line of credit, and all of those guys are extremely good interest rate. I mean, my Subaru Outback I have for like a 299, which is awesome. I have a Model 3 long range 2024. I got that for 1.99 APR. Those were just perfect in my case for interest, just because I'm barely paying anything in terms of interest. It's like all principal. But this car kind of humbled me a little bit, you know? Going from that M340i at that 699 to step up to something like this obviously was a big deal. At the time, like I said, this was a big jump from my previous car. We're talking about basically $40,000 or $39,000 all the way up to a $90,000 car. First time I've ever took that step. You know, it probably wasn't very smart for me at the time as well to move forward with a car like this, because we did have some home projects going on. As you guys can see, I live on a farm. I had a lot of lumber on the line of credit card wise. You know, I'm impulsive, and I was like, this spec came up. I was like, dude, I just got to do it. Like, it's got to work out. You know, it's got to work out. Fellas, I'm telling you, if you're going to buy a car, do not be doing home improvement stuff. You know, make sure your credit cards are paid down. You know, you'll be fine, at least at my age. We were able to finally get approved. It was a whole process. BMW came through, but the only issue was BMW came through at a 9.29% interest rate, which for me, I'm like, I'm thinking there, I'm at the dealership, I'm like, oh my God, I almost had to like walk a mile to finally swallow the fact that I have a $90,000 absolute beauty Isle of Man green spec, everything I could possibly ask for. You know, that people are calling all over about this car. I'm the first one on it. Didn't get approved from any other lender, but BMW is like, yo, we'll give you 9%, car's yours. My M340i was like smoking from the downpipe when I went to trade it in. What's insane is I actually got even for that car. They offered me 39. Drove that car for probably like 12,000 miles around there, and I got like the same price back for it, which was absurd as a trade-in. At that point, I was like, you know what? I can't even argue with this. The 9%. I really, really want this car. You know, I just was salivating over it. Like I said before, this is not an ideal situation from like a financial perspective, but at the end of the day, man, money, it's not an issue right now. I don't mind paying a little bit extra in interest to secure something like this, because I knew if I passed up on it, this car would have been gone, especially with the carbon buckets. It is so hard to find a spec with stuff like this. I mean, they just fly off the shelf. And it sounds crazy, but it's true, man. Quick tip, if you're ever going to build a car new from the factory, from BMW, in a G80 chassis, even M4, always get the laser lights, carbon roof, and carbon buckets. From a retail standpoint or resale standpoint, you will always have an up on normal comfort seats, because people that are not used to the carbon buckets, to them it is huge from an enthusiast standpoint. Like I said, these are such a special offering from BMW that, I mean, just look at those. You are not going to find that from any other car, and that's why I highly recommend, if you are going to build one, you might think at the time, oh, you know, it's an extra $4,500 from the dealer, or $4,700. I don't know the exact spec or the exact amount. In the long run, it is going to save you so much. In my case, I knew I had to bounce on it, or I pounced basically like a Puma. I knew this was my spec. I already was at the dealer. This car was looking me in the eyes. I mean, literally, look at this. It was looking me in the eyes, just beautiful, just tempting me. I finally caved in. I was like, you know what? I'll do the 9%, not a big deal. And I will say I did do 0 down. Finally signed the papers, and I was like, boom, okay, 9%, here we go. $90,000 car, 9% interest rate. You guys are probably wondering, okay, then what are you paying monthly for that? Well, if you guys do the math, it comes out to about $1,640 a month. $1,640 is what I pay for this guy right here per month. And I know a lot of you guys are going, $16,040, oh my God. Well, fellas, listen, if you were to build one of these new from the factory, spec it out exactly like this guy right here, you basically be into it at a 5.49 interest rate from BMW, which is like their average finance rate. Sometimes you can get a 3.99 if you talk them down, but you're about $150 off pretty much. You know, I wanted the car at the time. For me, it worked out. I'm like, I don't care about paying the extra $100 or even $200 per month. I wanted the car. You know, it had my name on it. I went through all that to get it. $1,640 is what I pay per month for this guy. I do have gap insurance on it. I was like, okay, we'll do some gap insurance. That makes sense. $1,640 is a big amount per month, which is a huge stretch from my M340i, which was basically $1,000 less. That's where we can kind of get in the weeds and be like, oh, is it really worth it? You know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, fellas, I don't know. There's just something about driving an M car, which is completely different than an M340i. I mean, until you own one, it's really hard to explain. In my case, the amount I'm saving on mods and just other, you know, incidental things, for me, this car, it checks all boxes. Plus, resale value standpoint, oh my gosh. Like I said, carbon buckets, I could probably get the same amount for this car if I sold it right now with 20,000 miles. I bought it with 12. There's a huge market, and I feel like the demand's only gonna go up. That's how I was able to justify it. I'm comfortable making that payment. You know, like I said, there's still other options. One thing about me, it's not that I don't like this car, and it's not that the payment's an issue. It's just, I go through cars a lot. I'm very like car ADHD, where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, do I get that 911? Do I get that C7 Z06? Do I get, you know, another one of these, like a 2026? You know, for me, I'm all over the place. Don't go by my judgment, but in this case, this car is pretty much everything that I wanted at the time for the price point. You know, I do enjoy this car. $1,600, is it what I want to pay? Probably not. You know, ideally, for a daily driver, I don't want to really be around that range. I enjoy this car. I'm happy with it. Beggars can't be choosers, and I don't mind paying an extra $100 or $200, you know, interest-wise to own this car, especially because I go through cars quickly, and I just felt like it was meant to be. I guess moving on to the next point, which I've been yapping for a while, but fellas, insurance-wise, you know, what truly is my cost out the door of this car per month? Ownership wise, insurance, I do have Progressive. I have a very clean driving record. Never had a ticket in my life, which is crazy. I've never had a claim, never had an accident. And I do, you know, have a little radar, which honestly, you know, you're gonna kind of be busted anyway if you're driving recklessly or just doing some dumb stuff. So I pay about $150 a month for my insurance. I guess you could tally that up. What is that? Basically, let's just say $1,800. We'll call it $1,800 with insurance per month. Car's about $1,800. Next thing I guess we go into is gas. You know, how much do I pay for gas for a bad boy like this? And that's the thing I will say is insurance obviously matters. I would definitely check with your insurer to see what you could get into this car at before you even buy it. I know that I have a very good record, very good insurance. My credit's good. Insurance for me is not really an issue, but a lot of you guys, I mean, I don't know your story. I don't know what you're dealing with, but yeah, I definitely get like a quote beforehand before you move to something like this, because I know there's been a lot of hype about this car being the next Mustang. You know, people just crashing these left and right. Hopefully people don't keep doing that and insurances stay low, but In my case, yeah, 150, cannot complain with that. Super happy with that price. But yeah, moving on to gas. That is one thing I will say about this car that I don't like as much, and that's gas, which the B58, my M340i boys, I mean, fellas, we're at like 40 mpg on average highway cruising, which this S58, no. I mean, it is a completely different story gas money-wise with this guy. I'd say we probably average about 25 mpg, and that's like a conservative number. I do drive this car a lot. This is my daily, and I will say I probably put 1,200 miles on this car per month, like 12 to 15, around there, 12 to 1,500. Yeah, so 1,200 or 1,500. And I will say, gas-wise, I usually fill up at Costco. In my area, I live in Oregon. It's about $3.80, I think, for premium. Pretty much gas-wise, I'd say roughly $200 per month. We said 1,800. We'll bump it up to 2K. Fellas, there you have it. Gas-wise, I'd say we're probably at $200, to be fair. 2K is what we're tallied up at for this car per month. $2,000 for this guy right here. On top of that, obviously we do have the modifications. You know, AST springs, $300. Mid pipe, $800. That's $1,100. Valve controller, we'll just say $300. What is that? $1,400. And then CS flash, we'll just say like another $400 for total package. What am I at right now? 400, 1,400, 1,700. That's $1,700 plus labor. We'll just call it $2,300. $2,300 total in modifications. I do have some PPF here on the screen. You can see how it's like satin. That's XPEL Stealth PPF. $2,300 mod wise. And then, like I said earlier, I'd say probably, to be conservative, about $2,000 per month to own this guy right here, which sounds crazy. A lot of you guys that are wondering, you know, what does it cost to own something like this? I'd say, okay, let's say I was to get a 2026, which I'm thinking about. I can get at the interest rate like a 3.99. Let me pause real quick. Let me do the math. Let me actually pull it up on the auto loan calculator and figure out what it would be if I was to get a car like this, brand new, basically same spec. We officially did the math. Check this out. Let me flip this guy over. So as you can see here, this is at $102,000. We're just going to use 72 months because that's what I feel like most people go with. 3.99 interest rate. I live in Oregon, 0% sales tax. We did like dock and fees, $950. Puts us at a grand total of $1,610. Basically, if I had this exact same spec on a 2026 at a 3.99 interest rate, we'd be at about $1,610. So about a $30 difference. Obviously, we have gap insurance. You know, this car has full PPF on the front, or track pack PPF. It's got like front PPF. You can see the line right here. I don't know if you can or not. On the top there, down on the rockers, into the bumper. This car has some add-ons and mods, but basically, if we were to get this car brand new, 2026, which I'd probably go BSM or Black Sapphire Metallic, we'd probably XPEL Stealth PPF this bad boy. Oh, it just looked nasty. I'd probably do black carbon buckets to keep it, you know, like an M3 Batmobile. I don't know if I want to do the red or the Fiona. I don't know, fellas. I'm still trying to figure that out, but pretty much brand new 2026, same spec. We'd be pretty much the same price. There you have it. Obviously, you know, more would be going towards principal than interest there, but still pretty much what you would expect to own one of these cars from the factory. $2,000, I would say, is very conservative. Roughly, you know, anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000, depending on credit and insurance and stuff like that. The real question is, obviously, is it worth it? There's a reason the G80 is so desirable right now, why everybody wants it, especially with a sunset like that. I would say it's worth it value-wise. Can you get better value? Yes, M340i. But for what this car is, there's really no substitute. I know that's like a Porsche slogan, but fellas, I mean, come on now. I mean, look at this thing. Yeah, the G80 M3 is where it's at. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys have any questions, leave it down below. I know there's always going to be like some crazy discussions about like, oh, interest rate, what are you going to pay? You should put money down. 9% interest rate, that's insane. It's like, I'm happy, man. I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to penny pinch on every little thing, or I wouldn't have bought this car. That's just giving it to you real, I guess. But yeah, we'll enjoy this sunset tonight, and hope you guys are enjoying your night wherever you're at, you know, whether it's a morning, any of that stuff. And I appreciate you guys supporting the video. As always, much love. And I do have a big update or announcement coming here soon. Might be in the next video, stay tuned for that. But anyways, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So me and this sunset here, or this sunset and I, we'll see you guys later. All right, peace.